Now, this next segment is for all of you ladies, even if you guys don't want to admit it. We are all human here, which means that we're all occasionally really, really gross. We are joined today by author Mara Altman, who thinks that instead of hiding it, we should celebrate, or at the very least, acknowledge what makes us us.
I read your book. I have a few questions before I finish my review. Bioactive cactus water?
Yes, please. May I use your restroom?
6th door on the left, after the second foyer.
Don't do this, Mara. I'm doing this, Mara. I'm back.
Are you wet?
Nope.
Okay. I think I am all set.
Great. This was fun.
I low-key wish I had thought of that on so many different occasions where I had no idea what to do with my sweat stains. And joining me now in her third shirt of the day is author of Gross Anatomy, Dispatches from the Front and the Back, Mara Altman. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
We are very excited about this. I feel like you speak my language, and you cover so many topics in this book, from sweat to breast size to body hair. So what was your inspiration behind writing this?
I was sick of feeling shame about parts of our body that are like 100% natural.
And out of our control.
Yeah, and normal. And so I decided to investigate why we begun to vilify them and try and figure out new ways to appreciate it.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think that hair below the eyebrows is considered totally unacceptable for women?
It's a very good way to say it.
Below
Like,
the eyebrows.
Just, yeah, everything. Well, up to like 100 years ago, in the early 1900s, women in the States were actually hairy. Like, we had hairy legs, we had hairy armpits, we did all the hair stuff. And then there was a razor company that wanted to sell razors, and they started linking hairiness to being gross, dirty, unappealing, masculine.
Oh, I don't like these people.
You couldn't get dates when you were hairy. You'd be home alone when you were hairy. And it really took off. I mean, it's very complicated too. Like, why did that message speak to women? Like, that's something we don't really
clearly it
know.
caught on.
It caught on to the point where, you know, when I was researching it and I spent a lot of time thinking about hair, I realized that it had like been ingrained so much into me that that to me it felt like in order to be a complete woman, I felt like I had to get rid of a part of myself, which is really complicated.
Yeah,
kind of.
incredibly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, well, I am not a fan of whoever started that razor company. All right, so has writing this book changed your perspective on your own body hair?
Absolutely. Yeah. I used to be very, like, have a lot of shame, anxiety about being found out. It was kind of like a secretive thing. It would be black ops in the bathroom in the morning with the tweezers. I would tear up my appointment cards to laser so that, like, my husband wouldn't find them. But then when I, more than like talking to all the researchers and anthropologists, historians, was like talking to other women, like the sisterhood of goatee, you know, that they all have, so many women have chin hairs, for example, which is like my,
Oh yeah.
that was the hardest part for me, the chin hair, for some reason.
Have
Like,
you embraced the chin hair now?
I wouldn't say that I've embraced it, but I'm not living in fear of it. I still remove it, but it's because I want to, not because like I'm so scared. Yeah, so I'd say that intention behind the action is very different. So I feel like I could be more present in my life rather than like wondering if the cashier is like, I see that hair.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh God. So now, I've read some some interesting things in your book about your parents and kind of the home you grew up in. So what was it like growing up in a home that really embraced hair?
Well, I thought it was normal until like I went to school and I found out it wasn't normal. So, you know, my mom had hairy armpits and she had hairy legs, and you know, like she'd come to the playground and she'd be like, "Hey, Mara, come on," you know, in like tank top, and I'd be like, "Mom, like, you know, there's other ways to wave. You could do this." But it was really this kind of conflict between, do I want to like fail my parents and let them down and like not be hairy, or be called the gross hairy girl at school? And so I decided not to be the gross hairy girl at school. My parents were a little disappointed, but like they helped me out a little, figuring out how to use a razor. It was not clear to my mom how to do that.
Yes, that passage was adorable. Neither of you had any idea
we're
how
like,
to
you
go
just-
about it. I guess you just go
You
up.
just go up, like
Yeah.
it doesn't. You don't turn into a bloody mess with a razor on your leg. It was very confusing. But I think that's actually what like began the like idea of the book. Like that early on is kind of, it wasn't just, yeah, of course you shave. It was a question to me, and I think all of our practices with our bodies and our views toward our bodies, like it's something that I questioned. Why do we do that?
Right.
What's better than the other? Is there something that's better than the other way? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think I thought about it. My mom always waxed her legs, so that was what I did, I think, starting when I was 13.
Yeah.
No one else I knew who was 13 was waxing their legs, but that's what
That's
my
very
mom did, and that's
advanced.
kind of what I thought was the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks, Mom. I have almost hairless legs now because I've been waxing them for, God, a long time now. I'm not going to do that math. But anyway, in your book, you mentioned that you recruited a surrogate plucker.
Yes.
So what exactly does that job entail?
Yeah, so a surrogate plucker, I thought I was alone on this, but it's like if you're ever rendered in a place where you cannot pluck yourself, it's like an emergency plucker. So like if you get dementia, if you get into a coma accident, you know, both arms are broken, this
surrogate
person,
plucker.
yeah, they come in before family and friends, and they are to remove the goatee, and then it's all still, you know, a secret.
That is incredible.
Yeah, and then so the cool thing about that was when I started talking to people, like so many people have emergency contact plucker.
I've done it for my mom on several occasions. When there's one she can't quite locate herself, she's had me
like,
get in there, and
I know
they're
it's
always
there.
in this region somewhere.
I feel it, but
There's
yeah.
a rogue one for me that just like will randomly sprout out legitimately of the middle of my neck.
You never know when.
You never know when.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right, so we have set up a really fun game, but before we get to that, I have one final and incredibly important question. It's an
Yeah.
important question
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you. Will you be my friend?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Done. All right, awesome. Now that that's squared away, we are going to get to the game now. Now, it is called Never Have I Ever. I'm sure you guys are familiar with probably a different version of this game. So today we are playing the Gross Anatomy theme. Now, I did not create these questions. My producers did, so we are both being put on the spot here a little bit, and we're going to take turns reading the questions aloud, and if we've done it, we will grab a paper chin hair from this lovely bucket of paper chin hairs.
I love them.
And at the end, we're going to tally up the questions, and whoever has the most chin hairs wins or loses. It's sort of unclear. We got it? We understood?
Yeah.
All right, great. Here we go. Let's do this. All right, number one. Never have I ever had a zit inside of my nose.
Of course I've had a
Yeah,
zit.
I mean, I wish I had glue to just. Anyway, okay.
Okay, oh, me. Never have I ever pretended to reach for something but really sniffed my armpit.
Oh, 100%. I've also done like the nose scratch, but like secretly smelled my armpit. You gotta do what you gotta do. All right, never have I ever gotten extremely excited when removing a particularly long ingrown hair. 1,000%, yes. It's the most satisfying.
I have a couple moments where I just like replay them in my head, like from my past. It's like extra
That was
good
a
ones.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Never have I ever gone longer than a week without showering.
I have not.
Ditto. I'm into the shower. When you're this gross, you gotta.
I am far too sweaty to not shower. All right, let's see. Never have I ever shaved my face with a razor. I actually have not. I've been thinking about it
I've
for
got
a
one in
long
my bag
time.
just in case. I was like, I could go to the bathroom if I find a rogue one. Just
I've been thinking
Yeah.
about it, and we'll see.
there's other ways.
I know it makes me nervous for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not
but-
sure it's like the first, like the best way. Well, I mean, for everyone, there's a different way.
Right.
but it's like one of the things, one of the tools.
I might try it out.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Never have I ever shook someone's hand and had to lie about why my hand was wet.
No, actually. I don't have particularly sweaty hands, I don't think. Whenever they've been wet, like after a bathroom wash, they
You're
were
like-
genuinely wet because
Okay.
I had washed them.
I think
All
I
right.
shook a couple people's hands here, and they were like,
I just washed them. They're clean, I swear. All right, let's see. Never have I ever had lice as an adult. I have never had lice.
I'm winning. Never have I ever had a dandruff flake that could have passed for a corn flake.
A cornflake? No.
Like, yeah.
No. Definitely not.
Me neither. I mean, it happens.
It does happen.
Yeah.
It's natural. Never have I ever pulled food out of my bra.
Oh yeah, so many pieces of food.
Not that I've put it there on purpose, but I've 1,000% dropped stuff down my shirt and then fished it out of my bra and then ate it anyway.
It's the best.
It's-
It's like snack time.
It's not for now, it's for later.
Yeah.
You gotta save it.
It's great.
All right. The results are in, so let's see. Let's tally them up. 1, 2, I think you beat me. I've got 4.
Bye.
The winner of the Gross Anatomy Never Have I Ever
Thank you
Challenge
very much.
is Mara with 5 chin hairs.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank you.
and or condolences. I don't really know who wins or loses
I
in
feel
this
proud.
game.
I feel proud.
You should feel proud.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you so much for joining us today, Mara. It was wonderful to talk with you and share all of these embarrassing secrets forever with everyone on our Facebook Live.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like they weren't too terribly embarrassing.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
it's the message. It's good.
That's true. Now, speaking of the message, be sure to pick up a copy of Mara's hilarious yet very, very informative book. You can find it on Amazon or at your local bookstore. Those do still exist. Also, we are giving away 5 copies of Gross Anatomy right now, and all you have to do is like this video and use #giveaway to enter, and the winners will be selected randomly tomorrow. So get to hashtagging.